You're listening to the Talk is Jeep podcast, a discussion of everything and anything related to Jeep life. These conversations are recorded live, and the opinions stated here have not been checked for sobriety. Now, here are your hosts, Art Aldrich and Tom Chartrand.
Hello, Tom. How you doing
Hey,
today?
Art. I'm doing great.
It's been quite a while since we had a podcast or a vlog or whatever we're calling it these days, but there's
Right.
been good reason for that. I don't
We've been
remember
away
what the
on
reason
work.
is, but
We've been far away. We haven't been in our offices. We haven't been in our Jeeps. We haven't been anywhere where we can talk about it. But the delay has been well worth it. We've got some
well,
sun happening now, and the storms have passed at least for the week. And yeah, we're here. It's Jeep season.
we are here and it is Jeep season. You know how I know it's Jeep season? Because I
Tell me.
get emails every day from Best Top saying, "Time to upgrade your soft top."
Right,
It's
exactly.
it's when every young Jeepers fancy turns to the convertible life, and that's tonight's topic: the convertible Jeep. We got back from Alaska in well, I got back earlier than you. I'm
Yeah,
apologizing
stop
now
saying
for
that.
that.
Stop saying that.
I got back in early March, first end of the first week of March, and we had a nice little warm spell in
Mhm.
early March. I actually got the top off the Jeep, and it was just like I couldn't wait. It was like,
Right.
why wait? And it just, it made me think because I see many Jeeps driving around, where I live in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut metro area. I see tons of Jeeps,
Right.
and I see them on the most beautiful days with the tops on, windows up, and I don't understand it. And
Right.
so
I feel the same way.
I pose
You know,
this question to you: is the Jeep a convertible?
it absolutely is a convertible. I tell my neighbors where we live here that don't go by the gopher and Groundhog Day or any of those animals. Just go by when the top comes off my Jeep because that tells you spring has sprung. The weather's getting better. That happened 2 days ago, where we're able to go down to some beach sunsets and not totally freeze out my better half, and that we can enjoy some music, we can enjoy the sun, we can enjoy the salt air. And to me, that's where the Jeep shines. It's like it's off now until November, unless winter starts really early. But for us, luckily, we have a garage and we can keep it in there, but the top stays off. We've got one of those really cool, I can't remember the name of it now, where we can store our back window and the side windows, and they just sit right there on the back of the Jeep. And we're ready for rain if it happens. We're ready for bad weather if it happens. But as far as I'm concerned, from now until November, top down, the convertible is in full summer session.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't have the luxury of a garage. I mean, I have a garage, but it's it's not capable of storing any vehicles or
It
anything
has other
like that.
priorities
It
right
has
now.
different priorities. But I do wish and I try to keep my top off as much as possible. Even if I have to put a jacket on, I would prefer drive the Jeep, with the top down,
Yes,
the doors off as much as possible.
right.
If I'm going to be away for an extended period of time, I might, throw everything back on, or I might throw a cover on it. But I always wonder, like, why do people buy a Jeep and then not take advantage of one of the best features of it?
And I've seen it in every aspect of life, whether it's Cape Cod where I live in the summertime, whether I've been down in Florida, you see so many JBUs, JLUs, and they've all got a hard top, and the windows are up, the AC is on, and to me, it's just not what the Jeep is made for.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. Oh, you know what? I'm not doing my part in switching back and forth. So
Oh, hi.
there's a lot of stuff going on here, and
I know.
it's been a few weeks. I'm a little rusty, and before we get too far away, I know you've had a little drink in your hand. I will
Ah,
give you a little toast as well to
absolutely.
happy jeeping.
Happy Jeeping, happy summer.
What are you sipping tonight?
Tonight I'm sipping some Arte Gnome 1414 Reposado.
That's a very nice
And
bottle.
it is
I
no
have some myself.
additives, very crispy. Is that what you're having right now?
No, no, I've
Oh,
got
right.
this Casa Azul. This is not to be confused with the Clase
Clase.
Azul, which is complete crap. This is actually pretty good. This is all organic and no additives and nonsense.
Lovely. Yeah.
If you're drinking tequila, you might as well drink the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So before we get too deep into
So
the
cheers to
weeds,
that.
yeah, cheers to that. I'm going to throw up our little contact. If people want to reach out, if you're watching live, which I see a few people are, you should
Awesome.
be able to put some comments into the YouTube, and we should be able to see them, and we can put them on the screen and talk about that. But
That'd be great.
if you're watching after the fact, then you need to reach out to us either via social media, Talk is Jeep Show on Instagram and on Twitter, or as the kids say, X. Or you can email us, talkisjeepshow@gmail.com. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Now I see a couple of
Yes.
comments coming in, and that's
There we go.
awesome. Let me see if I can pop one of these in right now.
Hey there, Joe.
Yeah, we got our friend Joe. Let me take this out. Yes, Mr. Joe says he agrees with us on hardtop during the winter. After pollen here in North Carolina run wide open, which is, the way that we like to do it. Now, I will say this. I will say this about what I've learned in the couple of decades I've had of Jeeps.
Yeah.
I bought my first Jeep in 1990. It was the first year of the YJ. I really didn't have any money. I was just out of college. And I bought it, like the bare bones. I think it was just called the Sport model, maybe the YJ Sport. Had no
Okay.
carpets, had half doors, canvas uppers, no windows, just the canvas with the zippers. And it actually had some snaps. And it was a terrible top. I mean, it was terrible,
Right.
awful.
It was a sieve.
But it was what it was. But I didn't
Yeah.
know what I didn't know, and that's right, the old adage. You don't
And
know
it
what you
didn't
don't know.
matter. Exactly.
Well, but I thought, okay, I bought this thing, but I probably should have went for the hard top, and I went down this rabbit hole. And this
Okay.
may be a familiar story to many people, but if you start going down this rabbit hole, so I wanted to buy a hardtop. And at that time, they used to send in the mail these catalogs from Acme Jeep or J.C. Whitney
Right.
or
Acme.
any
Yeah.
any number of. I think this was pre, Quadratech, so I don't think
Right.
that was a thing back in 1990. But anyway, I couldn't afford a new one from Jeep, so I went on the old classified pages, and I found a used Acme Jeep top, which was
Okay.
not up to the quality, let's just say, of
Not
the
how they've
Jeep.
developed them today. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It was better than the soft
Right.
top, but it wasn't completely factory perfect, and it had
Yep.
a terrible, terrible back window design where you couldn't. It had glass in the back, but you couldn't open and close the back
They would
glass
break.
without the
Yeah.
tailgate being opened.
Right.
But if the tailgate was opened and you opened the window and then you closed the window and then you closed the tailgate, you'd smash the glass. because the tailgate was higher than the bottom of the glass window. And so you had to basically close the tailgate about 90%, lower the the glass in between, and
Little
then close the
holes.
tailgate and then close the window. And I can't tell you, Tom, and if I had a nickel for every piece of rear glass that I had to replace in that thing, I'd have 25 cents because
Well, that
that's
was part of your lifestyle at the time. You were enjoying that Jeep and the life around it too. So
right. But I also had friends who didn't understand the logistics,
right, right.
right? So you get to that point where you realize that, oh boy, I'm into this thing like not well thought out. And then of
Right.
course I wanted hard doors because um, the canvas head uppers, you had to unzip it, especially if you go into the drive-through,
Right.
and it was not elegant. It was just
Right.
messy. So of course I bought a set of Acme doors. They were fiberglass. They were a little warped, and the worst part was they didn't have roll down windows. They had the Burger King drive-through slide
Oh,
windows, and it wouldn't
right.
open all the way. It'd only open up like three-quarters of the way. So anyway, I went up, storing those doors because they were just terrible. And I
Junk.
bought a pair of takeoff Jeep doors from. I think the doors from a CJ would fit them. So
Okay.
I had these doors, and I bought them. They were black. I had a white Jeep, so and this top was like just an off yellowish
Right.
gray color, and look, it was just horrible. But what I learned from all of that was that when I bought my new JL in 18, I
Okay.
said, you know what? I don't want the hard top. I don't care about all of that, convenience part. Like the soft top, especially the new soft tops, are
Oh
so
yeah.
good. Are so good. It is a
So
year
well
round.
designed.
It
Yeah.
is a year round top. The factory soft tops, and they
Right.
come with the doors. Now you get the real doors with
I don't know
windows and
that.
electronics, and so
Yeah.
my advice to anyone buying a Jeep at this point is really consider whether you want the pain of a hard top. And I do think there's a lot of pain.
Absolutely. I mean, do you want that lifestyle? Like, why are you getting a Jeep Wrangler? So, and no judgment either way. If that's
Yeah,
what you want the hard top, it's awesome. But if you want that outdoor lifestyle, the soft top just gives you so many more convenient options to enjoy it in that convertible mode.
true, true, true. And like I guess some people just buy a Jeep because it's whatever, it's a vehicle, it's transportation. Like I don't understand that
Right.
myself, but I guess some people do that. And we're going to talk a little bit about, I guess, some of the pain points and maybe how to overcome them. We're going to show
Hmm.
some things that you can do because I have to believe that if you own a Jeep with a hardtop, because I've
Right.
seen this driving around, like it's all on and all sealed up. And okay,
Right.
maybe you're like, a soccer mom and you're not into doing that thing, or it's too hard physically, right? Like maybe you are
Yes.
not physically capable of removing the parts.
Yeah. You need more than one body to be able to manage that.
So yeah, you have to kind of like think about what it is that you're going to be able
Right.
to do with it. That's why the soft top is great because it's so easy to put up and down. You don't need to
Right.
store it. You don't need to do anything with it. And the doors themselves, I mean, I think if you haven't ever done a naked Jeep, you have to do it once. You have to.
Absolutely.
You
You got to
owe it
find a
to
way.
yourself. You owe it to your Jeep to
Yes.
experience that. And I promise you, once you do it, you will be like, oh, now I get it. Now I
That's what
get
this
it.
is about.
Now I
I mean,
get
I
it.
get it for, folks that may be in areas where you live, where it's more urban and, more crowded and busy and street life, and you're worried about what's in the Jeep. I mean, those are considerations for sure. But I have that here too in the summertime. So I've got a lock. I lock things down in the back of it because I want to keep all the beach accessories, all the fun accessories, all those little considerations. It takes a little bit of work. It's not easy, but to me, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
You actually reminded me of another story with my first Jeep with the soft top, and it was another lesson learned. I was working at this broadcast station. It was my first real job. It was in near New York City, but not in the city. And I parked in the secured garage. But someone basically, the Jeep was locked up. It was all zipped up. But someone basically bent the canvas upper. Opened the door, rummaged through it, but whatever. But destroyed the upper frame.
Right.
And that's when I realized that there's no point keeping anything in the Jeep. Just, if it's not bolted down, don't leave it in there unless you want it stolen.
Unless you're okay with whatever its status may be at the end of the
Yep.
day. Yeah.
Yep. And I basically do that. I don't keep anything in my Jeep at this point that I don't care if it gets stolen. If I've
Right.
left it, you're welcome to it. You want the 38 cents of change in the cup? Knock yourself out. You probably need it more than me. And that's just
But that's
how.
another episode. You get that locked, little safe you put under under your driver's seat. Those are great. That's where you keep your stuff. You go the extra bit when you're out in the summer on the beach and you go out to eat and you lock your wallet, you lock your phone, you lock your glasses under the seat. Just an extra step. That's all.
Yeah, I still wouldn't trust it myself, but so I see the Jeeps driving around with the hard tops and the doors and whatever. And okay, I'm assuming there's some reason where they physically can't, you know, take them off. That's my rationale for why they're not naked or
Right.
topless. Then I see the Jeeps that are soft tops driving around with everything sealed up.
That I don't
And I
get.
do, I
That
want,
that I just don't respect.
I just don't understand it. Can you be that lazy, I guess, or uninformed? I don't know. I don't know.
Right. If
But
you're
it
going to go to
always
that
makes me
effort,
wonder.
yeah,
It always makes me wonder. And then the
exactly.
other thing I see, which again I think brings us to other parts of this conversation that we'll get to, is that I see the guys with the 4-door JLUs. They've got the freedom panels off and all
Right.
four doors off, but the rest of the top is on.
Exactly. That little cover over the driver. Yeah. Over the front.
Yeah. So and I get it. Like, okay, there are probably some reasons, but I think again, I just encourage people, try it out. Try getting naked in your
Exactly.
Jeep, and you will never go back to
Exactly.
to
So can I just sidebar a second? A lovely and wonderful friend and family member of ours, Shauna Hall, is asking, are there really hidden symbols in the different Jeeps? And they are. They're all over different Jeeps. So, but in mine, my old TJ, there weren't. And I actually went to the lengths of buying one so I could put it on my front windshield like all the other ones after it had them.
Oh,
So
you're such a wannabe.
I am. No, I've got the real Jeep. I've got the TJ, Mr. Cushy Clutch. But I love the symbolism. I love the whole lifestyle of it. But you've
I
got them
was
all over your JL.
I do. You know what I was
Yeah.
wondering? I've been, knock on wood, very fortunate that I've not shattered my front windshield by chips.
Right.
But I know it's a common problem, especially in the JLs, and I know you can
Right.
get the Gorilla Glass and all that. But I believe that if you don't get a windshield from Jeep, that you lose all your little
I think you do.
Easter
I
eggs.
think
And
you
then
do.
even if you
Right.
get a Jeep windshield, I'm not sure that it has the Easter eggs in it. I don't know how that
I've
works.
never, yeah, thankfully I've never had to worry about that.
Yeah,
And I wonder if that's why it wasn't in mine to begin with.
uh, it's very possible. You
Right.
could probably look that up, and
Right.
someone on the interwebs would know the answer to that question.
But yeah, lots of little hidden gems around Jeeps.
So,
Anyway,
yeah, so let's talk about some of the things that you can use to help. Let's assume you have a hard top,
yeah,
because if you have the hard top, you obviously must be challenged if you're not taking it off in some way or another. So I've
right.
got some clips here. Let me see if I can just run them as we'll talk about it. This is from the Way of Life YouTube channel. Eddie, very famous YouTube Jeeper, and he's just going through and shows how easy it is to get these freedom panels off. Couple of latches, and the front two panels come off, and then
Super
you
easy.
have, yeah, and then Jeep gives you the tools even to take all the other parts off. If you never looked in your glove box on a new Jeep, it comes with that little tool pouch with a couple
Right.
of Torx head drivers, and you can basically just unbolt everything. And the problem is,
That's the easy part, right?
that's the easy part is taking it apart. The
Right.
the hard part is what to do with it after. And I think, that really depends on how big your wallet is, right? How deep is your
And your
pocket?
garage. Right.
Another nice thing in the JLs, at least, I don't know in the JKs if they have
Oh,
this, but
that's cool.
it has a storage location in the back for all of the bolts that you take out of the top and the doors. Um, you could store them back there, and this is really nice. My Jeep's never had this, but it's a plug, a quick removal plug for the wiper of the defroster. And what's neat in this next clip is you'll see it's got a storage connector on the
Oh, very
fender
cool.
well, and that's for the washer fluid.
Ah,
And look at this, it's got a storage connector right on the fender well inside.
they really make it easy.
They
That's
do. I
awesome.
mean, this is like
Yeah.
luxury,
Yeah.
luxury to do it. So okay, so getting it off is really not hard. I mean, you just have to be able to use
Well,
the socket
disconnecting
provided.
it from the chassis is not that hard.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So now getting it off the Jeep, I sort of broke this into like three options, right? You can
Right.
basically, it's actually, you could manhandle it yourself, and I think that's the first clip that I've got queued up. So let me see if I can
Okay.
roll that one. Yeah. So this guy, Godspeed ZRZ, his channel had this video on there, and he's gonna manhandle this top off by himself, and he basically slides it off a little bit to clear the gate, and then he's got to jam his neck in there and try to lift this off
Oh my God.
with his head as a balance point. Now, I don't suggest this unless you're young and strong,
Right.
because
And willing to break something on the way to and from.
right, because if there's anything in the way, or God forbid you tripped,
Oh, wow.
there would
Yeah.
be some damage. There would be some damage. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's like the hardest way, I think, to to do it. And
I can see that little balance shuffle right there.
oh yeah, yeah. But there's the glory, right? You get it off, and everything
Right.
is all good. So then
Right.
the next easiest step. That's obviously the easiest way, and especially if you don't have any friends, what are you going to do? Okay, you
Right.
do
You'll
it
get more
that
friends
way.
when you get the top off. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And this next clip is, I think, the next easiest way to do it is where you call up a bunch of friends, you bribe them with some beer, and you lift it off. Four people can lift this thing very, very easy. This is at Jolly Ollie.
There
His
you go.
channel
Like
had
a
this
barn
clip.
raising in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So obviously, if you get a few friends to come over and help you, much easier to manage.
Right.
Now, our friend Joe has chimed in here, and he says you can use a
Absolutely.
motorized gator lift, and we're going to show one of these things. They're not the cheapest things in the world. You can definitely home brew your own,
Yes.
but those are things that, if you have the resources, definitely make it easier to do. So let me show you one of these. This is I don't remember the name of this. It's like Easy Lift or something like that. But this is a mechanical jack engineered specifically for the Jeep top, and you
Right. It
basically
fits right
roll it.
in under and in between the wheels. It's like
Yeah,
specific.
yeah, and this is also very good for one person, but you do have to have the upper body strength to engage the jack itself against the top of the Jeep.
Right.
And if you look at him, I mean, it takes a little bit of effort, as you can see, to
He looks like he's on a bit of an incline too, so that
yeah,
can't be all that easy.
yeah. But he gets it lined up, and then what he does is he's got to put some body weight on it to to get it to lift.
He's got it in place.
Yeah, so he's gonna
He's
get some
prepping.
body
Oh
weight on
boy.
there. So I don't think it's the
Yeah.
easiest thing in the world to do, but then the problem is that you've got this thing on a little bit of like a shopping cart,
Right.
and if you look at this thing, it's kind of teetering a little bit. It would make me a little nervous, I think, to use this one. You can see how it's
But
teetering.
no, dude, it's impressive that it's centered like that, you know? That
But
it's
then,
not just falling forward.
right, but imagine that your driveway is not perfectly level, or it's not
Yeah,
perfectly smooth, or there's some sort of grade transition that you have to go through. My
absolutely.
bets are not on this thing maintaining balance.
Yeah. I mean, but there's got to be affordable ways. I mean, in my garage as it is, I've got a pulley system with marine rope that I've devised to just hold my kayak up and over everything. So with a little ingenuity, and desire, you can make that happen.
The other problem is once you start to disassemble your Jeep, the doors and everything, you do need to have a place to store them.
Right.
And like, okay, with my Jeep, I don't have to worry about storing the hard top, but the doors do have to be handled with a little bit of care, unless you don't care about getting
Hmm.
them all scuffed. Because if
Right.
you take the doors off, you put them on the ground. Obviously, there's a good
They're gonna
chance you're going to
scrape.
scuff them. I wound up making myself, and I don't have any pictures of it, unfortunately, or I could probably find them, but it would take me too much tequila to dig through it. But um, I made a little cart out of plywood and PVC pipe, and it's basically like a two section cart, and I can put one door on each side, and they don't bump into each other, and it's padded with
Right.
furnace heater pipe insulation, like the foam that you put around your pipes to keep them insulated, and that keeps it from getting scuffed. And I can roll that cart around my driveway. I've got two wheels that steer
It
360, and then
works
two
really
rears that are
well.
fixed. And I can basically move the cart near my door as I take it off, drop it in there. I don't have to worry about lifting it because, I'm not getting any younger, and, I couldn't carry it up a set of stairs or something like that.
Just be happy you don't have to take the top off.
Right. So, but you do have to think about these things like,
Yeah.
okay, where am I going to put the stuff? It's not just
Right.
that you got it off. Okay, great. Because if you leave it outside, I mean, you could tarp it. It's going to get dirty.
Right.
You're going to have to definitely plan for some washing before everything goes back on. The doors, there's electronics in them. I wouldn't really leave them outside. I think they'd get,
No. I mean,
mess.
I can speak for what was at the end of that video with with the door hangers in the
Yeah.
garage. I've got two of them for my TJ, and they're great. They're padded where you put the window frame, and I get fleece blankets and just kind of blanket around the doors in the summertime. And I use the same hanger to hang my half doors, my rails for the Jeep that I put on the summertime when the doors do come off. Um, I store them like that in the wintertime, and it's a great little affordable system. And maybe we can put it up, somewhere in the video or the description afterwards. I think they were on Amazon, super
Yeah, they
affordable,
they
really
said they
usable. Yeah.
sell them in a bunch of places. I know if you go onto Quadratech, you can definitely
Yeah.
find a bunch of these parts. Or Amazon obviously has a lot of this stuff too. But you
I
do
mean,
have
I
to
think
think
the
about it. You do have
yeah,
to
and I
think
think the
about
main
these
message
things.
is to not be scared to try. Yes, it's a car, they're expensive, they're this and that, but just take the extra care, to be able to use it the way you want it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Once I took my doors off the first time, I never ever put the nuts back on the bolts for the doors
Right.
because they come
Same.
off.
Yeah.
They come off so frequently that it's just too much time.
Yeah, they're
You know, I
sitting in the
could
glove box.
I can have my Jeep pretty much stripped down in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
Windows out, top down, doors off, safety mirrors on. Um,
Right.
that's
And
another
that's
thing you
something to
have
not
to.
forget. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you have to be careful of. Every state has different
Right.
laws. If you pull your doors off, you're most likely pulling off your rear view mirrors or your side view mirrors.
Right.
And yeah, I have a little. I can maybe bring up a web page that does. But let's look at this last method of if you really want the most convenience in getting your top off. This is a
Oh,
lift.
extreme terrain. Oh my.
Well, no, they're just like the distributor. They don't manufacture it.
And they sell great stuff.
Yeah, they do. But this thing is a little bit of a Megillah um, because you have to basically build this thing into your ceiling rafters, and then it uses a motorized,
Oh wow.
winch to pull it up, and it's balanced, and it does have a place. Once you get the top off, you can store the freedom panels on the sides of the top. But
Ah.
you know, I don't know this would make me think twice about getting a hard top.
But if you want to use it the way, we love using our Jeep up here, have it off from, April through November, this is a great way to feel confident storing it in a real safe way. But wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, my advice would be, try it out once, see if you like it. But, if you bought your Jeep only with the hard top,
Uh-huh.
and then you go, topless, there's a good likelihood you're going to replace that hard top with a soft top at some point. Just because all of this gets into be such a process.
Right. Great system though.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, I've seen several sort of home built systems where it's just rope and pulley, no
Yeah.
motors, and you can just do it yourself. But you can see when it comes back down, it's got the foam, and then you throw the freedom panels on there, and then you got to kind of strap the freedom panels on, and then that has to sit in your
And then put it back
garage.
up. Right.
You got to have the room in your garage to be able to do that. Again, I'm envious if you do have that much room in your garage.
And that's the
Um,
cleanest garage I've ever seen.
well, yeah, that's not even a garage. That's like a
Yeah, I know.
showroom that they built some framing in.
Yeah. But it just shows you there's ways to do it. And, then you can enjoy, taking your Jeep out topless. And I mean, to me, that's the greatest freedom with a vehicle,
I
to
mean,
know. Yeah.
I don't know how to even put it into words. There's something magical when you're cruising in your Jeep, doors off, top off, the sun
Yeah.
is in your face, you're just
Music up
loving,
full.
music's up, you're just loving life. Even like I get this a lot too. You roll up to a red light and there's some, car next to you, probably an SUV, and you
Right.
see like the dad is like giving you like the side eye, but then the kids in the back like giving you the thumbs up. You know, it's just like, yep, I'm doing it my way.
Right. I'm enjoying it. This is
It's
how vehicles should be enjoyed.
it's something special. So if you, like I said, if you have not tried this, and I know a lot of people haven't, I don't know if we're talking to any
Right.
of them, but they should watch this
Well, hopefully they'll be catching up with us and
and
checking it out and
and
maybe taking the message.
take the message because I see
Yeah.
all of these Jeeps. I mean, I get it. Like, okay, let's say you're not gonna go off roading. Okay, that's your prerogative, your
Right.
loss. but take the top and the doors off and enjoy it, even if you're just driving around your neighborhood or you're crawling the malls. I mean,
Exactly. Put your
why
foot
not?
out. Get that little step that fits in the
No,
door.
don't do that. Don't do
Yes, do that. Feel the wind in your feet. Come
that.
on.
I've seen so many of those that go in the doorpost, and you wind up bending your doorpost hanger.
Well, don't be a jerk, but just do that and listen to Red Barchetta and let the wind blow. Come on.
Yes, everywhere the wind blows. So let me see what else. I got a couple more clips in the playlist here. Oh, so here's this is a question that people will ask, and of course, if you have the luxury of Mr. Tom, you put your Jeep back into the garage when it rains, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't have that luxury, so I have to always be aware of the weather, and then I have to do this little, decision tree. Okay,
Right.
is it going to rain a short duration, long duration? Am I going to be away in between anything? And I may have to put the top and the doors back on, which is unfortunate, but it does happen sometimes for me during the
Right.
summer. At one point, I tried buying one of those pop up garages,
Like a carport kind of
like
a
a kind
thing.
of a carport canvas pop up tent.
Yeah.
The problem I had, at least for me, is that I couldn't fasten it down to my driveway
Oh,
sturdy enough.
yeah.
And when the
Right.
wind blew, one time I found it in my neighbor's yard. It
Oh,
tumbled
God.
about 300 feet into the
Oh,
neighbor's yard and, left my Jeep exposed. And I would
right.
really have to probably anchor it with like concrete bolts or
Right.
something
Go
that,
right into the asphalt. Yeah.
yeah, just that's not ideal. So I looked for another solution and I found it. And I've tried a couple of these different covers. The one that I personally recommend is this one called Jeep Jacket.
Ah,
I've had the other famous rain cover one. I think it's called
rain gear.
Rain Gear.
Yes. I did
And
not have good luck with mine.
Rudolph didn't like Rain Gear. But the problem I had with the Rain Gear one is that it didn't fit my Jeep, even though it was made for my Jeep. Didn't fit mine.
Yes. Right.
This Jeep Jacket fits a million times better and has better waterproofing, in my opinion.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
if you are going to go naked, if you're going to take the top and the doors off, especially,
Right.
you need to consider a cover or a carport or something. But this cover, highly recommend this cover. And then I can throw
Right.
that
And
on. Literally, I can throw that on in 2 minutes. I don't
that's
even have to
amazing.
fasten it all down. It comes with tons of clips and connection points. I don't even do that
Right.
sometimes. I just do like the front and the back, or maybe just the doors if I'm worried about sideways
It's not
rain.
windy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, right. I mean, and I've gone to the lengths of different size tarps and I've tried different size tarps. The only thing I'll suggest, because they work great, is to go big. Get bungees to go under the Jeep. If you've got a lifted Jeep, then you're fine. You can get it across if you've got somebody else there. But, you can save some money, get a big size tarp, hold it down well. I've done it well with four bungees and a 12 by 16 tarp, on the run. I have it in the back anyway with my table and my chairs and the camp chairs and everything you need to just have in the back of the Jeep.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe says he's used some of the
Love
best
it. Yeah.
tops, rain jackets. And like I said, your mileage may vary depending. The one thing I
Right.
will say is this: if you are going to use a tarp, because I've used a tarp in a pinch, especially, and
Hmm.
if you don't have, if your top is like if you have a soft top and the
Yep.
top is down, what I usually do is put that top up and then put the tarp over the whole Jeep. Because what happens is in the over the driver's compartment, or if you've got a four door, over the passenger compartments, there's no support for the tarp. And if it
Right.
rains a lot, it will sag and you'll get these water
Absolutely.
wells in your, and you have to be very careful because as
You
you go
do.
to disperse them, you could get, not that I know Yes, I do know from experience that you can make
We
your
all find that
passenger
out
very
once.
unhappy if you get their seat wet before a trail ride.
Absolutely.
So
And, given the industry we're in, I have a Lowell light stand from a Toto kit that I keep in the back, and that goes right in the middle between the two front seats and sticks up so the rain runs down. But that's something to consider. Broomstick, hockey stick, something that can stand up in the middle of your Jeep and hold that tarp up
yeah,
so the rain
right.
waves, runs
But
down.
in my case, because I have the soft top there, the soft top, I never take the soft top frame off the Jeep. It just
Right.
folds down. So I fold that up. Even if I don't have the doors with me, that will give enough support to the center
Yes.
of it.
So the
Worst
water
case
runs.
scenarios, you could get a 2x4 and just put it across the
Yes.
roll bar, and that would probably be enough to keep some of the water from sagging in as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. A selfie stick at this point for
Yeah,
anybody
I
that's
mean
out there.
something.
Yeah.
But I think those are the main barriers that I've seen for stopping people, preventing people from experiencing the joy of a convertible Jeep. And a Jeep is
Right.
a convertible. I don't care what anyone else
Yeah.
says. I don't care how you spec it. You could spec it with Loctite on the top, but it's still a convertible.
It absolutely is. Should be, and it should be enjoyed that way at least once.
Right.
If that's not your thing, that's all good, but
Right.
should be at least tried.
Yes. So hopefully this gave everyone some tips and some things to think about at least.
I think for the most part, we're preaching to the choir, but just know that, have the fun with it, tell your friends, and folks that get their Jeep and they're not, trying to do that, encourage them because
Yeah.
it really is so much fun.
Yep.
The kids love it, and I've been doing that since 2001, and it's it's carried on for multiple Jeeps in the family.
Yeah. Yeah. You were out on the beach the other night, a little pre
We were near
summer.
the beach. Yeah, a little pre-summer. So yeah, I don't know if you got that picture there, but
I
we
did.
had the top down. I cleaned Julius. I did all that stuff and we went out. We had a beautiful sunset. So, Calmus Beach here in Hyannis is great. It's one of the windiest beaches nearby. So many kite surfers come here. It's known in that community for being a really windy, fun beach. And it's one of our favorite places to enjoy sunsets. So before it's real summer and we can get down to the lower Cape and enjoy the Nauset Outer Beach, that's our peaceful place and we love it.
Awesome. I'm just going to remind everybody if you have a show topic that you would like us to discuss, or you want to give us some feedback, or maybe you've got a cool Jeep and you want to talk to us about it. We would love to hear from you. Maybe Joe, you want to come on one time, and I know you've got a collection of Jeeps. We'd like to talk to you
Yes.
about those at some point. But yeah, talkusjeepshow at gmail.com, on Twitter and Instagram at Talk is Jeep Show.
And I want to check out that Jeep jacket. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'd like to step it up from the tarp fallback because it's not 100%.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. Can't
Yes.
wait to get the doors and the top off. We had like a monsoon season the last 2 weeks here in New
Yes.
York, and it's just been raining, and flooding. It's been crazy. So I had the top off, and the top went back on. It got cold. Now it's starting to get warm, but I'm getting ready to head out to a trade show for a week out in Las Vegas. So
Nice.
chances are that the top is going to stay on.
The weather's not supposed to be that great. So yeah, let it go. It's
All
all
right,
good.
we'll let it go. On that note, Tom, I will say goodnight to you, and hopefully
And good night to everybody else.
we'll be speaking again soon. Hopefully, this is a good time. We're testing out times and frequencies. Still working
Right.
on.
Let us know if 8 p.m. is a good time to watch the show. Let us know if this works into what you like. And share your, Jeep topless pictures and where you Jeep and all that stuff on Instagram and Twitter and, start a conversation with us and give us something to talk about.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out a little bit. So I
Yeah,
think we're making progress, but it's not as quick as we'd like, I think, but we're getting there. All right.
sounds good.
Thanks, Tom.